Welcome to the Irresistible You podcast. This is the place to get a dose of empowerment to create the life you crave and deserve. My name is Amy, and I am the founder of Irresistible University. Through my podcasting courses, I teach women just like you how to ditch the body image issues, gain confidence, and lose the emotional weight to look and feel irresistible at any size. If you like my podcast, you're going to love the Irresistible You online course and VIP private podcast. If you want to learn more, head on over to irresistibleicing.com/course and snag your seat today. All right, welcome back to the podcast. We are full speed ahead today, and I want to share with you something I found on Reddit the other night that literally stopped me in my tracks. This is going to be like OG Irresistible You. It's going to be raw. It's going to be vulnerable. It's going to be edgy. It's going to be a little ranting and raving and all the things that are the reason why I know you like to listen to this podcast. And also, I keep it real here. So if that's something you're not into, then you may not want to listen. But I saw this post on Reddit and I'm going to ask you a question. Okay. I want to start this by asking you a question. Growing up or even currently, do you feel that your femininity was robbed from you because you're overweight? Do you feel your femininity was robbed from you because you're fat? Did girlhood feel like it was something other girls got to experience but not you? Did you feel like you were minimized or treated invisible because of your body? That is what this post was about. And I was shocked. I was stunned in my tracks because I said, this is something I have always felt, but I never had words for it. So I'm going to just read a little bit of the post and then I'm going to share with you a little bit of my experience and then we're going to get into this, okay? So here we go. In the post on Reddit, the writer said, "Sorry if this makes zero sense. I just got out of an emotionally tense conversation with a friend. And while it was good, I still feel worked up. And since they aren't plus size themselves, I wanted to see if this was a common shared experience. Does anyone else feel like growing up, girlhood and femininity weren't available to you, obtainable to you? I was always masculinized since I was very young because I was the biggest in the class, biggest in the friend group, etc. Even right now in college, I still feel like this happens. I didn't get to be girly or have any teenage girl experiences growing up. I never dressed up because everyone told me I didn't have the body for it. I never got asked out to school dances, never really made friends with other girls, never got invited to parties, and still not really invited out to clubs or anything like that. I grew up with an aversion to the color pink because my mom would tell me I'm not suited for it because it's a dainty girl's color. Wow. Growing up, I adopted a tomboy persona, not because I wanted to, but I felt like I would never be feminine enough to be anything else. I was always the quote unquote strong man, not because I was physically strong, just because I was heavy. Fast forward to adulthood, and I'm trying to reclaim my femininity and explore my identity in ways I thought I wasn't allowed to growing up. But I'm struggling to find peace. I feel as if my body still prevents me from fully feeling femme. I feel too big, too round, and too small in others. Although I carry myself confidently, I still have moments where I feel like a muscle man in lipstick standing next to other girls. It's sort of habitual at this point, since I was always taught and told growing up that stuff like dresses and high heels and makeup weren't for girls built like me. I kind of hope this is something I can actually work through and overcome. I don't want this following me my entire life. Wow. Like, that is so loaded, so fully loaded that there's so much here to unpack. And when I read that, I said, I have got to take this to the pod and we have to discuss this because I feel a kinship to reading this. And while I don't relate to everything the person says, I relate to a large percentage of what's here. I just maybe never had the words for it. And the other thing that strikes me here is this is exactly what we talk about in the Irresistible You framework. Guiding principle number one is break the rules. And we talk about how we all have these rules that were created, that we created, that others created for us, and this person saying that she wasn't allowed to wear pink. She wasn't allowed to feel, wear high heels and dresses, and her mom told her that pink is for dainty girls. The damage that that did, right? Like the damage that does to someone. So because of that, you know, it wasn't necessarily that this person had these thoughts on her own. Other people told her that, she was not girly, she was not feminine, the society told her these things. So um it's just wild to me how this happens to us. And I talk about this a lot with Break the Rules, is we get these rules from society, from relationships, from things people said to us, things people didn't say to us because we were invisible to them, right? So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my experience as it relates to this story. So I'm 44 years old. I was born in 1981. That just sounded like the beginning of the Taylor Swift concert Eras tour. I was Taylor and I was born in 1989. So I'm Amy and I was born in 1981, which means I grew up, the prime of my like formative years was the 90s. So for all my other geriatric millennials, you understand what that means. No social media, no connection to others around the world because we didn't have the ability. You were only connected to people in your little community around you. There was only so many stations, only so many channels on TV. So we were spoon-fed a lot of things about our bodies. And I think we also grew up in the heart, in the heat of toxic diet culture, snack wells, Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig commercials, the sitcoms on Friday night. Remember TGIF and Topanga? Everybody, um, grouped Topanga and DJ Tanner as fat girls. And I look and I'm like, what is wrong with y'all? Like, there was nothing fat about either one of them. And they had issues on the show where they were having eating disorders and unbelievable. And even Rose on Titanic was considered thick. And I'm like, guys, like, what is happening here? So, of course, me being in my thick size 10 to 12 body at the time thought I was ginormous. You would have thought I was 600 pounds the way that I saw myself because of the way the world was around me, the way the media was around me, the way people in my school were around me, right? Like I went to this country ass school out in Hickory in Virginia. If you know where that is, out in Chesapeake, you know, for I hate saying this because I don't want people to take it the wrong way, but when you go to a school like that and you're surrounded by people that can't appreciate your body, that only like skinny white girls with straight hair and only like girls who are a size 2, that forms things, right? And it wasn't until I got a little older, like around 15, 16, and my body's like really taking shape and is like, really got the Coke bottle shape. I'm a little chubby, of course, but I'm not fat. And I get around people from other places, other ethnicities, other nationalities, and they're like, damn, like, people started to find me attractive and sexy. And that was so new for me because I felt invisible. All the friends that I had were skinny. So I was always the token fat girl. I was the chubby friend. I was the fat friend. So, being young and, 12, 13, 14 and guys, everybody's hormones are off the charts, right? And people are trying to talk to you and guys are talking to my skinny friends, but not me. So it was like I was there, but I felt invisible, right? Or guys would talk to me because they thought my best friends were hot. And it's so dehumanizing. It's not even like, it's not even just robbing your femininity, it's dehumanizing, right? And there was this time, we're getting raw today, y'all. There was this time I was 12 and it was a Halloween party. And it was one of those parties where you get dropped off, right? And there's boys and girls. And of course, people are playing the whack ass spin the bottle shit. And me and my best friend at the time, we were dressed because I love Halloween. You know I love Halloween, right? If you listen, you know. And we were dressed up like court jesters, and they were the cutest costumes. We were obsessed with them. We thought we looked so cute. We both had the same costume, but they were like different colors. And me and her were both like, we were both chubby. And this asshole was like, spins the bottle and he's like, but jesters are wild. You know, like when you're playing cards and the Joker, he said, Jokers are wild, meaning you can skip it. You don't have to do that. You know, so there's lots and lots of death by paper cut moments like that. Or another one I can tell you, I was like, I want to say like 14 or so, and I had spent the day with one of my other friends. She was the the one that everybody was always hitting on, the pretty girl, right? And we were hanging out with these guys from her school because we went to two different high schools. And I mean, we spent the entire day. I'm talking like morning until evening when I had to go home and my mom or dad picked me up. And we were swimming. We were, because we were out in Virginia Beach, we were like going down sand dunes, going at the beach, swimming in all the water we shouldn't have even swim in. Lesnar Bridge, if you know, you know. That's like so dangerous. But like doing all this crazy shit, right? So it was like a long day of a lot of events. And there was the four of us. And this is back in the day of like three-way party line. Remember party line? So I had my own phone number that would only ring in my bedroom. That was like, if you were cool, you had one of those, right? That was like a big deal. So I had my own line because we didn't have cell phones. I had my own line and we would do what is it? Three-way or party line all the time. So we're like, hey, let's call. So that's how insignificant these guys are to me at this point. I don't even remember their names. I don't. And my friend was like, okay, let's call them and pretend you're not here yet. I don't know what the reason was for that. I forget what it was. But anyway, so she calls so and so. And I kid you not, this motherfucker, the first thing out of his mouth was, and I quote, because it's funny the things that you can remember like it was yesterday. Did the fat girl go home yet? Like he couldn't wait to make sure I was gone. Did that fat girl go home? I don't even think I was like, did that fat girl go home yet? What the fuck? I think I just hung up at that point and then he realized I probably said something knowing me. And then I hung up and he realized, oh my God. And he felt so stupid as he should. But that right there is a perfect example of how you can feel dehumanized or like your femininity was taken away from you, that you didn't get to experience some of those same girlhood, teenage girl moments. Because here I spent the entire day with these people, and I didn't have any attraction to these boys. Let me be very clear. I was not attracted to them. I did not want to get with them. These were my friends. Like, I don't even know if she was probably boyfriend with one of them. I don't remember. But I was not into them at all. And for you to spend the whole day with me and you can't even use my name, and then you're so worried about if I went home yet, because why? Because why? Like I'm some inconvenience to you? The fat girl, is she home yet? Did she go home? Like you can't wait to get rid of me? And in that moment, I was not even a person. I wasn't even a person to them in that sentence. And when you're 14 and you've had another death by paper cut moment, it builds and it builds and it builds and it builds. And then other things, other examples I can give you is, for those of you that know, back in the day, we had that whack ass store called 579. Talk about toxic ass diet culture. The 90s were the epitome of eating disorder culture. We had a store for teenagers called 579. And if you didn't wear a 579, you didn't get to shop in that store. So if you were a size 11, which at this point in my life, I was like a size, because it was junior sizes, I was a size 11, maybe a size 13, depending on the clothes. Oh, yeah, so fat, right? Oh my God, I'm so fat. If I could only be as fat now as I thought I was then, I would be living good, y'all. Anyway, so I have these little skinny friends. I love my friends, but they're skinny and they love to shop at 579. And it's embarrassing. It's humiliating. And you go in the store and the little bitch that's in college that works there, because you know you're like 15 at the time, 16 or whatever, and she's just looking at you because she knows. So you pretend that you just want to look at shoes in the store. You just want to look at accessories. You just want to look at earrings. It's not that you only want to look at that. You don't have any other choice. Another death by paper cut moment. Add that onto the list, right? So sitting on the sidelines while your cute little skinny friends with their flat stomachs get to try all these things on that you'll never be able to wear because it doesn't even come in your size. Other markers of like teen girlhood, especially in the 90s, as you guys know, like crop tops, belly shirts, all of that was super in style. And I know nowadays, you know, we can wear what we want, obviously, and we have plus size influencers and people who are wearing these things and showing us that we can still look cute. But back then, that would have been so far out of the norm, right? Because nobody was around. There was no plus size anybody with influence that was doing these things. Nor did these things even come in your size, right? So there's that part. There's the society stuff, there's the you know, friendship things, the shopping, there's the fashion. And it's like I wasn't even plus size at the time. It's just like, you know, if you had a belly, and I'm talking even the tiniest little belly, people would be so nasty about it. So everybody's wearing these cute crop tops. Everybody, I remember like around 16 or so, uh, I think all my friends just about had gotten their belly buttons pierced. And I remember that being so, like, it's not often that I'll feel jealous of things or envious of things, but that was one of those punch in the gut moments, no pun intended, where it was like, man, that is so sexy and cute. And I know all the boys like it. And it just looks so good with their little bathing suits, their little two-piece bathing suits. Because again, the only bathing suits that there were one pieces. And then you had two pieces, but they were the little scrawny, skinny, tiny little string bikinis. We didn't have what we have now. And it's so hard to remember that, right? But everybody gets their belly button pierced and it's got the cute little dangly diamond. And you know, me and some gems, girl. You know, I love the gems. You know, I love crystals and all that stuff. And just feeling so isolated and invisible and not included because society told me your body doesn't qualify for this. It just doesn't. And, you know, I would think, well, if I get my belly button pierced and I sit down, you know, I have a roll. Girl, if that was only the case now, because I'm pretty sure standing up, I probably barely had a stomach roll. You know, like if you're younger and you're listening to this, I implore you to please just learn how to love your body and appreciate it right now, even if you're 20 or 30, because it's going to change in every decade in ways that you can't even anticipate. You know, and then there was this moment. There's so many of these. There's so many little moments that I can't share all of them with you. I wanted to just kind of share, you know, my highlights with you. And you know, every weekend was roller skating. We were skating Friday night, Saturday night, sometimes Sunday night. It was a whole thing and it went on for years from like 6th grade to like to the time I could drive. And there was always beef. There was always people beefing. There was always haters. There was always like this East Coast, West Coast mess going on. Like there was always so much drama at the skating rink because people did not like us. One of my friends, they absolutely hated her because again, she was like the cute little pretty one and they all hated her and I would defend her. And then you know how back in the day it was like a style where Jinko jeans, like the big baggy jeans were in style. But then on the top, you would wear like a fitted, ribbed, like a tight rib top, right? That was like tight. And then you had the big baggy jeans. That's kind of like, it's funny because all the Gen Zs are wearing that and the alphas and thinking they think they're brand new. Girl, please. We've been doing that. So I had gotten a pair of those jeans and I had this, I remember the shirt so well. It was this tight ribbed long sleeve top. It was turquoise and I thought it was so cute and pretty. Well, this girl who was an absolute brute. She was a brute. She was 3 times my size. She was actually fat, fat. She was big, wide shouldered, quarterback style, talk about not feminine, not even trying to be feminine, right? And she was just she was scary looking. Like she was just big and brute like. And she was a bitch. And she had the audacity, the balls to come up to me and say, I kid you not, this girl, this bitch, she was like, you really think you're a size 3 wearing that, don't you? It said some bullshit like that. For you to look the way you look like you roll out of bed and come up to this skating rink every night. You look like you literally roll out of bed. Body shape and all that, whatever. But you literally roll out of bed with your nasty, messy hair, no makeup on, your ratty ass t shirt, and you're going to say some shit like that to me? So it was also from women. It was also from men, boys. It was also from society. It was also from TV. We're constantly being fed, you're not good enough, you're not good enough, you're not good enough, you're not skinny enough, you're not skinny enough. And if you're not skinny enough, then how dare you wear something form fitting? How dare you wear something that shows off your breast? How dare you wear something that shows your size? How dare you? How dare you wear makeup and jewelry and want to do your hair if you can't even take care of your body? That's the stuff that was happening. And these weren't isolated moments. They were stacked up over time. And over time, they created my rules. These experiences in my young, vulnerable mind taught me who I wasn't allowed to be, taught me that I wasn't allowed to wear certain things. I wasn't allowed to embrace the feminine in me, the sexy in me, the goddess in me. Like I wasn't I didn't deserve to be those things. That's what society was teaching me at this time. And so I think over time, these create these rules that we have for ourselves and they shape you. And you start taking those things and your actions, the way you think and feel about yourself turn into how you treat yourself and how you react and how you act to things. And how you start like being afraid to take up space. You start shrinking yourself down, not physically, but like emotionally, right? You stop trying to take up space. You stop hoping to be chosen. And then I have one of those moments that just brought that up. 7th grade, asshole teachers. And if there's any of you that are teachers right now that are doing this, please stop doing this. They would pick 2 team captains and say, pick your teams. Not 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 A B A B A. No. Pick the 2 most popular guys in the class, the 2 hottest guys in the class at the time. This is 7th grade, and said, pick your teams. So who do you think they picked? They picked all the athletic guys. They picked all the pretty girls. And not only that, they said, everybody stand up, and when you're chosen, sit down. Who do you think was the last person standing up? Yeah. It was me. How utterly humiliating, embarrassing, dehumanizing, and how can you feel girly and feminine and cute and pretty when the 2 hottest boys in the whole 7th grade were like, and here's what he said. Yeah, I guess I'll take her. Not because, okay, Amy on my team. Again, I don't have a name. I'm not a human to them. I'm definitely not a girl to them. Yeah, I guess I'll take her. You guess? Do you know what that does to a little 12-year-old little girl? How dare those fucking teachers? How dare you? How do you not know what that can do? Like what is wrong with you? So if you're a teacher and you've ever done that, you can't go back and change it, but I am begging you going forward, do not ever set teams up in your classrooms like that. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. So that happened. That's just one more little thing. And, going to look for prom dresses and, you know, having the workers there go, or like, okay. And just treat you like you're not even like you don't deserve to be one of the pretty girls at prom, you know? And so when I read this story on Reddit, I was like, holy shit. Like, yeah, I feel like my girlhood, my femininity was robbed from me for a long time. And I think that's what comes out in some of my choices and some of my actions. And, you know, obviously, for those of you that know me now and have known me for a while, you may not believe that, or you may not realize, like, because I am very feminine, I'm very much like into girly things and clothing and hair and makeup and jewelry and perfume and just all those kinds of things, right? I love it. And I think I always loved it. And I don't think I was ever like, I went through my awkward phase like fourth through like probably seventh grade. And then I started to kind of come into my own a little bit, and then by high school, but I don't think I was ever like a tomboy, so to speak, but I wasn't exactly like dainty and girly and graceful and cute and pretty, and was never considered one of those girls. And it was like as I got older, it's like the corny teenage movie where they take the glasses off and they get because I had glasses too, and my braces come off and my glasses come off. I start wearing makeup and people are like, "Oh, oh, oh." Or I turned 15, 16, and now I've got like, perfect Coke body, a little chubby, a little thick, but I look good, okay? And like I told you, I got out of that bullshit community that I was growing up in, and other men are like, finding me very attractive. And it was so hard for me to believe that at first. So I'm like, me? Are you sure you're talking to me? You know? And as I got older and I came into my own and I found my confidence and I reclaimed myself and I would go out like, I never had any issues with opposite sex and getting attention and and what do they say? I had no problem pulling who I wanted to pull, okay? I pulled my husband, okay? That's our funny story. Like I approached him, okay? I approached him first through MySpace. And listen, it was ballsy. It was I saw him and I just knew. I was like, I know when I see something I want, like that's it. Game over. And we laugh about it because I mean it's been literally this year 2026. It has been 20 years since I sent that MySpace message and I have no regrets. Like that man is the love of my life and is truly epitomizes everything there is about a man, a husband, a dad, like just masculine, like oh, let me stop. Anyway, so like I came into my own, but early on, like this was really hard, and I know there's some of you listening right now that haven't reclaimed your femininity. You haven't reclaimed your sexiness. You haven't reclaimed your glam. And I want you to be able to do that because here's the reality. The lie that you've been told and sold is that femininity belongs to only certain body types. Happiness only belongs to certain body types. And all of that is absolute, utter bullshit, right? It's utter bullshit. And you don't need anybody's approval. You don't need anybody's advice. You don't need anybody's permission. You were never unfeminine. You were never any of those horrible things that people said about you and also didn't say about you because not, feeling invisible and people not saying things to you also does damage. You were just unaware. You were restricted. Your femininity was not taken from you. And I want you to reclaim it. If you feel like that's what happened to you and you relate to anything that I'm saying to you right now, I want you to reframe that. I want you to start doing things today to own it. Let yourself want what you were told wasn't for you. And I think I did that a lot, rocking the high heels, rocking the tight dresses, rocking the full face of makeup. Like fuck all the way off. You little limp dick, low life pieces of shit. You can fuck all the way off. Because now I know who I am. I know that I look good. I know that I am beautiful, and I know that I am worthy. So I want you to do the same thing. I want you to do you without any apologies. Revisit all the things you avoided, the different colors, the styles, the expressions, and redefine what femininity means to you. And I think of femininity and irresistibility as like the same thing, right? Reclaim your irresistibility. What does that look like to you? How do you want to show up? Who do you want to be? You don't need permission, okay? And I just want you to know that you were always allowed. You were always allowed, even if no one told you that. And it's not too late. I don't care if you're 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 plus and you're listening to this. You didn't imagine it. This is what happened to you. And it's not too late to change the rules, to break the rules and change them. So I hope this resonated. I hope you could maybe see something about yourself in this. But if you want to learn more, if you want to learn how to break the rules, I would recommend you head on over to irresistibleicing.com/course. Grab your seat in my online self-study course, which also, by the way, comes with an online private podcast, which is the entire course in podcast form. So head on over there. Let me know if you have any questions about that. If you're loving the podcast, I would be so appreciative if you could head on over and leave a rating and review on your podcast player. And I will catch you over on Instagram and TikTok at Irresistible Icing. Until next time, stay irresistible. Bye, guys.